friends, it's Ace and welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna do a little bit more long format. I have some updates that I wanted to share on some of my projects, and instead of doing some, a bunch of smaller mini videos, I thought I could roll it into what I'm gonna call Coffee, Crochet, and Cats. And so let's all get our cups of coffee, where I thought I'd update you on my projects, and we could be joined by one of our cats. And so today we are joined by Slater. I don't know if you guys saw my organized video, but Slater is my 10.5-year-old boy. He's got a sister too, and he's going to be joining us. He's going to take a nap while we talk crochet and yarn goodies and all of that. And so, in this format, we'll call it a podcast, but I'm not exactly sure how often I'll do it. Probably once a month, because I think I'll have, on a monthly basis, enough updates for you to kind of condense into one larger video. Or one thing I thought I would share with you guys. So if you've ever noticed anything about me, sometimes my eye does not look directly in the camera. I have what they call a lazy eye, and it wanders quite a bit these days, and so I can't necessarily control it all the time. And so that's why you'll frequently see me like closing my eyes to kind of like reset towards the camera. But if you see the eye wander, don't worry, nothing's wrong. It's just my lazy eye, and I have to just usually reset it. But I used to be cross-eyed as a kid, and I had surgery to fix it, because I think my mom tells me I would have gone blind in one eye if I didn't get the surgery, but I did it, and I didn't have glasses for years after that. I think I got the surgery when I was 4 or 5. And I didn't have glasses until I was in my mid-20s, early 20s, when I started working on computers quite a bit and needed something just for my computers. But I don't even have a heavy prescription, and so the only thing that I have is just a lazy eye. And I think the doctors say I can fix it, but it's kind of unique. It's me. It's, it's just what you expect from me. Some people get freaked out by it because the eye will wander, and I can control it if I want to, but usually I don't, unless it's kind of like a parlor trick. I will freak people out a little bit sometimes. But so just kind of wanted to give that to you. Just, if you ever see it, it just wanders, and it's just, it's me, it's Ace, it's just who I am. I just have a wandering eye. So thought I'd throw that in there for you guys. Let's get into the video. So yeah, it's been a crazy month with crochet. I haven't gotten as much done, I think, as much as I would like. So I'm trying to give myself some grace in that I'm still learning, and I'm still learning, so I'm picking up speed as I go along. And so I've gotten a couple of projects completed that I'm going to show you, and then I'm going to show you some of my works in progress, and then I'm going to kind of just tell you about what I like to binge on, whether that's podcasts or Netflix or YouTube when I'm crocheting, and then I'll show you some of the more smaller hauls that I've gotten. They're not necessarily, some of them are yarn related, and the other cat is probably carrying her toy around. So if you saw that video, that is Punky carrying her toy around the house. So I picked up a few things that I haven't shown you guys throughout the month for like future projects or yarn clubs that I've signed up for, and they don't really make a full video, so I thought this would be the perfect place to show you. And so I'll show you some of that, and then I'll share some updates for you and kind of what I plan on doing in the next few weeks. And yeah, so that is going to be Coffee, Crochet, and Cats, joined by Slater. And so let's get started. So I finished 2 objects in the last few weeks. And so I showed a little bit of this in a recent video when I did my hauls on small business small yarn shops. But I finished my second juniper cowl, and I love it. This time I did it, so the last time you might have seen it, I did it with the universal, or not universal, the Hobie Universe yarn that has that metallic thread throughout. And so this time I did it with just kind of like a fingering sock weight yarn. And so it's this beautiful multicolored variegated skein. It's Storyteller yarn in their Berry Blast. It's their sock yarn. And so it's super pretty. I've already blocked it, and I love the finished size. I think I made it really big, or bigger than what I've seen other people, but I really love it. I've worn it a bunch of times to work already. And so, yeah, I'm really happy. I still messed up though in places. I'll do my best to show you guys. But you can kind of see I forgot to, one of the stitches, like you have to yarn over first, and I forgot to do that. And so I was getting this kind of stretch stitch. It kind of looks like a Z. And so by the time I figured it out up here, I got it right. So I will actually probably end up making it a 3rd time in another colorway, and then trying to get it like 100% correct this time, because I love this pattern so much. It's super easy. It's like one of those, and I'll talk about this later, it's just one of those easy, like, knotness. You can do it, and you don't really need to put any thought to it. Like, once you get it going, it's super easy to finish. And I noticed that the time picked up between my first and second shawl, between how long it took me. I think I did the second, so I used 2 skeins of that Storyteller Berry Blast sock yarn, and I think I did that whole second skein, and it was like 430 or 450 yards, and I think I did it in like the whole next day. Second project that I finished recently, I still have to weave in the ends, but I did most of them. I just have to weave in a couple more ends and just kind of finish it up, is this baby blanket sized Mocha Ripple Afghan. It's not Mocha, but that's Ripple Afghan from TL Yarn Crafts. If you saw my temperature blanket, you know that this is the design that I'm using for my temperature blanket, but I wanted to do a smaller form of this blanket for my new nephew. We're a Michigan family, and so I used a smaller hook on this than the one that the pattern calls for in the Ripple Afghan, and so that was tighter together and it wasn't that big. And I think the finished size of this before any type of blocking is like about 35 by 35, and so I'm really happy with it. Again, this pattern is super easy. Like, I screwed up so many times in this pattern, but it's super easy to fix. You don't have to frog it. And honestly, I doubt you could even check, like you could really even tell that I messed up. I think there's like a couple spots where like I could tell, but I really don't think that my brother or sister-in-law are gonna be able to tell. And you know, it's a Michigan family, so I'm sure they're gonna love the Michigan blanket for my new nephew. And so I'm really happy with that. We're gonna go see him hopefully later this spring, early summer, and so I'm really excited to give them this blanket, because one of my first crochet blankets was actually a maize and blue colored blanket, and it was made with the Bernat blanket yarn, but it's that extra thick one. And honestly, I don't know what I did. I added a couple stitches. bless their hearts, like they use it and they used it in their baby photos, but you could definitely tell that was like one of my first completed projects. And so this one's much better. It looks much more like professionally done. I mean, but it looks a lot nicer than the first blanket I gave them. So this is my, you know, redo blanket. So I'm really happy with the way this turned out, and I can't wait for them to see it. You know, they're gonna come with like dog hair and all, but that's just life of living with animals and yarn in our house. So so those are all the projects that I finished recently. I have a bunch of works in progress. Some of the other projects that I had completed recently, I already showed you guys in that Organize With Me video, so I don't want to re-show you. So now let's look at all of the works in progress that I'm like steadily making headway on. And so the first one is the flat iron shawl from TL Yarn Crafts, and I am like 95% of the way there. The only thing I need to do is there's a border here. I'm just waiting on the yarn that I had ordered for it. I had ordered a few skeins of the Dream in Color Smushy Cashmere from Webs, and they accidentally sent me the Dream in Color Smushy, so it doesn't have the cashmere in it. And I contacted customer service, and at first they didn't have the yarn, the Smushy Cashmere, in stock. So I was just gonna get a refund, but then a day later they actually found two up in the front of their storefront, and so they're gonna send me the black opal Smushy Cashmere, and so I'm gonna finish this off with a black border, and then I will block this, but I love this. Like, it's too big for you guys to see it fully, but I absolutely love it. I love the cashmere feel. I love the drapey feel. It's a super easy pattern. It's like once you get going, it's just kind of mindless. So I really appreciate that. I love the fade, and you guys were really essential in choosing that third color. And so that was the third color that I used. So this is all Dream in Color yarn. It's their Smushy Cashmere. And so this color is Children of the People, or the People. I'll put the correct name on screen because I don't remember. And then this color is the Edge. And then this color is I don't remember. I will put it on screen. I don't remember what that one was, but I'm really happy with the way this turned out, and so I can't wait to wear this. It is surprisingly a lot more heavier than I thought it would be, but I suspect that's just because of the pattern. But it's so beautiful and amazing, and another finished object in the books, so I'm really happy with that. Well, almost finished object. So then the next project I'm working on is this Tinosaurus T-Rex kind of thing, or Brontosaurus. No, it's not a Brontosaurus, but it's like a little stuffy plushie that I'm gonna make for my nephew, and it's gonna have like little horns here and all down his back, and the body's not stuffed. So I just finished the head and I'm starting the body. I have to go back and fix something here, but I definitely look forward to sharing the update with you guys as this progresses. So hopefully by next check-in I will have this finished for you. And then, you know, this is a project that's just gonna be on every check-in, is my temperature blanket. I'm behind. I'm probably like a week and a half behind. because I don't think I've updated it really since the last time I updated it with you guys, which was like early March. And so I definitely need to catch up. But you know, I'm definitely learning some things on color, you know, working and putting colors together, and I will definitely be sharing with you guys what I've learned at the end of the year. And I'm definitely going to put a lot more thought into the color patterns, well, the pattern and then the color, you know, the color work that I'm doing and all of the color patterns to color palettes, that's the word. All of the color palettes, just because some of these colors should not be next to each other, and I really should have taken a little bit more time to kind of really sit down and put all the colors next to each other. And that's something I learned in the color theory class that I attended. So next year is gonna be, you know, this is like my first go at it, and so I'm not really disappointed. Is it like the ugliest thing on the planet? No, but it's definitely, you know, we'll see how it blossoms throughout the year as it gets warmer. It's starting to get really warm here in Los Angeles. I suspect that we're gonna get a new color in the coming week or so on here, because we haven't hit over 85 yet, and 86 is where I need to hit over to get the next color that you guys haven't seen. And so I suspect we're gonna get that in the next week, if not today, because it's really, really hot today. Surprisingly, I'm in a sweater, but so that is my temperature blanket. And then I'm also working on that Delilah cardigan that I showed you guys in that kind of coffee or crochet with me, organize with me video. Slater. So this is that cardigan. I completely finished this side of the cardigan, and I started on this side of the cardigan. As you can see, I just started on this side of the cardigan, but I'm kind of starting to fall a little bit out of love with this cardigan. It's gonna be really heavy, so it's not something that I'm going to be able to wear really honestly anytime soon. And so I'm just kind of doing it as, you know, when I get inspired to do the cardigan. I would definitely probably choose a different yarn if I had to do it over again, but I'm beyond that point. I don't want to frog this. And so I'm gonna finish it, but I'm gonna take my time because, again, I probably can't wear this anymore, at least until, you know, October, November. Well, it's Los Angeles, so really we're talking about like December. So yeah, I it's cute, but I made a lot of errors, and I just was too lazy to frog it back in some parts, and so it's not gonna quite turn out the way it's supposed to. And so I think that's also why I'm kind of like just taking my time on the cardigan, because it's not really gonna turn out the way it's supposed to. I also don't necessarily like this stitch because it's a very heavy stitch. So we'll see. I'll, you know, as it goes along, I'll show you guys. So when I crochet, I am a big true crime fan. I listen to podcasts, I watch like true crime on YouTube, I watch true crime on Netflix, because I don't really have to watch, I can just listen, which is really important because I'm usually staring at the crochet. And so I just kind of wanted to share some of my favorites. I love CrimeJunkie it's a podcast. You can get it on Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts. And I'm still binging and catching up because it's been out for about 3 years now, and I'm still catching up on just their published, you know, on Spotify podcasts. And the way the host tells stories and her voice, and like, just first of all, you can tell the difference between when she first started and now. and the quality, but the way she tells stories, I just am so invested in the stories. And I've always been kind of like a mystery junkie. As a kid, I used to watch like Murder, She Wrote, Diagnosis Murder, and kind of those types of TV shows. And so I tend to like kind of get up in the morning, get my day started before work, and I will come in here and I'll sit in the chair and I have a TV in front of me and I will listen to CrimeJunkie podcasts and catch up on that before I start my work for the day, just to kind of get like some coffee and crochet and true crime in. It's kind of like my little pocket of peace, my little me time in the morning. And so I'd love to hear kind of like what you guys listen to. There's also a bunch of other podcasts that this same host, Ashley Flowers, hosts on Spotify. So I know when I run out of true CrimeJunkie episodes, I'll be able to go to some of the other podcasts that she hosts. And so I'm really looking forward to that. On like Netflix, I watch even just like documentaries on, I don't know, I saw this one on how to become a tyrant that was hosted, the narrator was Peter Dinklage. And so it was really good. It just kind of gave like the historical narrative of some of the world's most infamous treacherous dictators and tyrants in the world, and how they kind of rose to power, and some of the similar themes throughout. And so I thought, I'm also a little historical junkie too. Thanks, Dad. And so I really found it fascinating. And so there's just a bunch of stuff on Netflix and even on YouTube. I listen to a lot of true crime stuff on YouTube. 60 Minutes Australia has a lot of that kind of stuff that's on YouTube. And so when I'm not kind of catching up on like yarn, crochet stuff on YouTube, I will do true crime on YouTube. And so that's kind of what I do when I'm crocheting. And so I'd love to know what you guys do to pass the time when you're crocheting. Next, we're gonna go and I'm gonna show you some of the hauls that I've gotten, just like mini things, kind of plans, because the larger yarn hauls that I've showed you guys, there's enough to go through a larger video. But this is just kind of like monthly, like yarn clubs, or some things that I'm gonna start doing that I just kind of wanted to show you guys so that you can kind of maybe see what's coming up too on the channel. As a beginner, I'm trying all sorts of new things in crochet, in fiber arts, and so I just, I'm slowly kind of acquiring things, and I'm gonna be trying these out in the next, few weeks, few months, and so I just wanted to kind of show them off for you. And so the first thing, you've heard me talk about her, but I think she's absolutely amazing. And I got the Tunisian Crochet Handbook by Tony Lipsy, who's TL Yarncraft. And I'm super excited to dive into this book and really start learning Tunisian crochet. I actually have a bunch of her patterns that are Tunisian crochet, because I bought her like top 8 pack for 2021, and it actually ended up having a bunch of Tunisian crochet patterns in it, and I didn't know how to Tunisian crochet. I always think it's really beautiful because it gives that kind of like sometimes faux knit look without it being knitting, which I think someday I do want to learn how to knit. But for now I'm just kind of sticking to crochet just because that's easy to go along with the book. I got this Tunisian crochet hook set. I'll put the name brand on screen because I took out the paper and it doesn't have it on the needles. It ranges from 3.5 millimeters to 8mm, and I think the only one it's missing is a 7mm. It has half step increments up. It is made from wood, and it's interchangeable, so I'll be able, it came with 3 cord sizes, so I'll be able to change out the cords. I had done some research on kind of like what the best, like a decent starter set. I didn't want some of the cheaper ones just because I also wanted to be a little bit sustainable. I liked the wood aspect of it. You know, some of the other stuff on Amazon, they were just like plastic, a bunch of plastic, and then they weren't interchangeable. So like they would all, you could get a set, but it would come with all their own cords, and I could just see that being like an organizational nightmare, and so I didn't really want to have to deal with that. And so I was trying to find like a good affordable like entry point for like a wooden interchangeable set. And so this is kind of where I landed, and so I'll probably do a review on this kind of as I start using it, but it probably won't be for a couple weeks, because I really want to use them and see how I feel. Although the one thing I am really worried about is, see how pointy, oh god, it actually hurts. That's super pointy, and so I can see that being an issue, but we're gonna give it a shot. And there's my dog. I will I will let you guys know. So I'm really looking forward to starting Tunisian crochet, and we'll be keeping you guys kind of updated in these kind of monthly coffee crochet cats updates, and then probably in further more in-depth videos in the future. So the next thing that I got, so hopefully you guys all saw my beginner tries yarn dyeing video, and I really love that class that I took as part of the Woolberry Fiber Cabin Retreat. And so I got myself a little kind of beginner hobby dyer kit from Dharma Dye, and so it comes with 6 acid dyes, low impact acid dyes, and then 2 pounds, I think, yeah, 2 pounds of citric acid. And so the colors that you get are brilliant yellow, dark navy, deep magenta, Caribbean blue, fire engine red, and true black. And so I had to do some more research just because, you know, I have to get a better understanding of kind of like, I've watched Rebecca from Chemknits. I watched a lot of her videos, and so I do have some kind of bare yarn coming, but I did need to do some more research on kind of like mixing and solutions and ratios and things like that. I also need to get a couple more things. I need some more reusable zip ties, and just some kind of supplies dedicated strictly to dyeing, like what are those, tongs, and probably some measuring cups. I do have extra measuring cups, so I might just devote one of them strictly to dyeing. I have that pan that we got, and I'm just gonna stick with that pan for now because I'm not gonna be dyeing large batches, because this is really for me. This is really just for me to have fun, play with colors. I will be taking you guys along on my journey, and just playing around. I'll also show you the yarn that I ordered. I ordered from Knit Picks, and I ordered kind of, for the most part, I just got one of like a bunch of their yarn. There were a couple that were on sale, so I ended up getting 3 of, and then that's just really to play with, and then just to kind of feel their bare yarns. And so, and then, you know, we'll see where that goes and see, you know, where that takes me. I also want to be able to use it, and so you know, I'll also probably take you guys along on like actually crocheting with it, with something that I hand dyed, and so that'll be really cool. And so that is it for, in terms of like kind of crochet accessories, projects, like mini things knickknacks that I got this month. And the next thing I want to showcase is some of the yarn clubs that I signed up for. Right now I only have one. Next month I should have more because I will have officially gotten my Woolberry Fiber Anna Green Gables, the March box, in like 2 weeks, 3 weeks probably. And so for the April video, I'll definitely be able to show you guys that. And so I signed up for the Montana Crochet Yarn Club, and I got my first box. And so this is kind of like the theme, that color theme, and it's based off the Gray Wolf. And I was really excited when I saw this. And so I actually signed up for the full skein, sock skein, and then a mini set. And so this is the full skein, which is gorgeous grays and blues and blacks and browns. I mean, it's so gorgeous. It's so gorgeous. And so it is the colorway Gray Wolf. It's 100% superwash merino. It's sock weight 438 yards. And so then I also got, so there, I mean, by looking at this, I can tell there's about 5 colors in here. But so I got the full skein, and then I got the mini accompanying set. So it's a darker gray, a lighter gray, a really light gray, a creamy gray, and then this brown. And so they'll pair really well together. I don't know what I'm gonna make with it. I think that's just the fun of, you know, getting it and then kind of not feeling the pressure like you have to make something out of it right away. But I also want to see, I saw the preview for the next month, which is Noose related. And the preview was like browns and greens and orangey yellows. And so I'm really excited to get it. They just charged for it. So I suspect I'll get it in the next week or two. So that'll definitely be in the April video to show you guys. But if you have any ideas on what I could do with this, I'd love it. I also might just start collecting minis and then come up with, because Tony Lipsy has a bunch of like mini projects to use, like mini skeins, and so might save them too. So, but give me some ideas. What do you think I could do with this, either together, separate, and I'm looking forward to the next one. So the next thing that I wanted to kind of talk to you guys about is I got selected to be a tester. This is the first time I've ever tested a pattern. Still really new to reading patterns, and so I mean I can read them. I'm just it's still very much something that I'm learning and kind of going back and double checking and everything like that. And so I got selected to test the Dahlia cardigan. It's an oversized batwing cardigan, and this is from Classic City Crochet, and I'll just kind of give you just a sneak peek of the design. It's on her Instagram, so I'll also put a link to that below. So I'm not sharing the cardigan without being told to, and so I'm not sharing it and not supposed to, so don't worry about that. But I just started working on it. It took me a little while because it actually requires a DK weight yarn, and I actually don't have a lot of DK weight yarn. I have fingering weight yarn. I have a lot of like worsted medium weight yarn, but I didn't have a lot of DK weight yarn. And so I had 4 in my yarn stash, and today I spent a couple hours swatching out 4 samples. The first one I did, I thought I might be able to use that yarn, that respun yarn from Mayan brand, but it is a 4. It is a true 4. It's not a 3, like a light 4. And so I didn't even finish it because it was just gonna be way too big. But the other yarns that I'm kind of contemplating right now, I had the Amigo yarn in this blue. I originally wanted a different sweater out of it, so I swatched that up. I swatched up, this isn't going to be the color, but I swatched up this Bernat Softy Baby yarn, and then I swatched up a True Bow yarn. I'm not going to tell you which one I'm going to settle on right now, because I'm actually going to be filming the whole process, so that probably in May sometime, because the pattern is due May 9th, and so probably mid to late May, depending on when the pattern releases, I will put together my full video of and showing kind of like the process of being pattern tester, like what I experienced as a first-time pattern tester, especially as a beginner, right? So I'm you know, somewhere probably in between true beginner and advanced beginner, like medium beginner, I don't know. But I'm really excited. We're in a group chat on Instagram, and so I just sent the photo of kind of like my top 2 of the yarns to get some feedback from the group. And then I don't have enough of anything in my stash, surprisingly, for this. So I have to go buy yarn for it. So that's why I'm trying to choose more economically priced yarn instead of some of my like indie dyed yarn, because otherwise I'm gonna need like 2,300 yards, and so you know that would be really expensive with indie dyed yarn, and as a first-time pattern tester I just didn't want to commit to that. I wanted something a little bit more economically priced, so that is why I'm kind of leaning toward, or that's why I swatched up those yarns. And so I definitely look forward to kind of sharing that full video with you guys. I'm also going to, as I go along, you know, and share on Instagram kind of the steps and tag Classic City Crochet along, and so you guys can keep an eye out, you know, in bits and pieces on the pattern and what it ends up looking like. So the other exciting thing is, and I didn't think I would get a ticket because I put a reminder on my calendar and then completely forgot, and it was like 30 or 40 minutes past the hour, but I secured a ticket for Our Maker Life in Portland, and I'm really excited to go. And I know I don't necessarily, you know, this is probably a little imposter syndrome, I feel a little bit, but you know, I like a lot of the makers, you know, I love following their Instagrams and getting inspired by all the work they do, and so I just wanted to like kind of treat myself to it. And so it's a one-day kind of conference in person, which that's really exciting. I'm really excited to do that, and up in Portland at the end of July. And so again, I will be taking you along on the journey, and hopefully get to meet many of the makers that kind of, I love their patterns and I get inspired by all their work, and I'm really impressed and blown away by all of their work. And so kind of I look forward to taking you along on that journey too. So I can't wait to share that this summer with you. And the last thing, and you guys will see it next week, next week's video is going to be the LA yarn crawl. And once I found out about this, I put it on my calendar, I blocked everything off, and I'm going to be deep diving into the LA yarn crawl. I haven't decided whether I'm going to make it a 2-day extravaganza or just try to go all out and try to hit all 15 shops in one day. That might be kind of hard because some of them are in the Inland Empire and near Ontario and stuff, and so it really might be hard to do, but it's 15 shops all throughout kind of LA County, and I'm gonna take you along on that. Ravi and I are gonna go. He's gonna be my cameraman, and we're gonna go look at a lot of fun yarn. We're gonna get our passport stamped. And we're just gonna have a fun time, and who knows, I might come up with more yarn, and I'm sure he'll love that, but who doesn't need more yarn, right? So I'm really excited about that. I've been kind of dying to go to it for probably like 2 months now, and so it's finally here. Finally here. So stay tuned for that video. The last thing I kind of wanted to talk about, you know, I always talk about how crochet is really something that helps address like my anxiety and my stress, and I wanted to just kind of be transparent too, because I'm sure I'm not the only one that feels this way, but I wanted to talk about kind of one of the things as someone who struggles with depression and anxiety and stress, that I find, you know, they say that like people with like anxiety and stress and depression have a hard time choosing TV shows, and they tend to kind of go back to the same shows they've watched over and over again because they know what to expect. And that is totally true. That's totally true for me. Ravi teases me all the time about like how it takes me like 20 or 25 minutes just to find something to watch on TV. And that's why I tend to like watch YouTube a lot, because to me it's not as much of an investment. I can kind of watch it and not feel like I have to be fully invested in it. Whereas like if I go to Netflix or any of the other streamings, like I feel like I have to be fully invested in whatever decision I make. And so I tend to gravitate towards things I've watched before, even like documentaries, even though I know what's gonna happen. It's more comforting for me. And I feel like that's the same way with me, patterns and projects, and committing to starting a project. And it takes me so long to decide on like to start a project, pick the yarn and everything, and search the internet for patterns. And you know, I can think in my head, I got this yarn and I wanted to do a sweater out of it, but then it takes me a while to find a pattern that I like, or it's not gonna work, or it's really hard to commit to something. And that's why I have 2 juniper cowls. And I, you know, like there's other projects that I finished, like the Bradley Afghan right here that I really liked. I have more of the Hue Me yarn and I kind of want to make another one, and my cats keep, you know, pulling this, so I kind of want another one. But it's just kind of like that same thing where like I know the outcome, I like the outcome, and so like how do you guys choose patterns? How do you commit to patterns? Like, do you have a similar experience where it's really hard for you to commit to patterns or projects, or do you have an easier time in committing to your projects and patterns? You know, I'd love some tips, advice, anything in the comments below. Are you like me? Are you not like me? Let me know. But I kind of just wanted to close with that because, again, you know, I think a lot of us, especially over the last, now we enter year 3 of the pandemic, you know, things are lifting again. Here in the LA, they took the masks away, so we don't have to wear a mask anymore. I generally do wear a mask just in high traffic situations, so like a grocery store, a large outdoor venue with lots of people. Like we're going to a Holi festival for Holi, and I'm probably gonna wear a mask there unless it is outside, so maybe not, but just depends on how crowded it is. So, you know, like many, you know, I picked up crochet, you know, during the pandemic to help just relieve some of that stress and anxiety that I was feeling. And so, but this is kind of one of those outcomes from having it, but like one of the harder things that I have to deal with is I want to crochet, but then actually committing to a pattern or a project is really, really hard for me. And so I just wanted to share that because I'm sure there are others out there like that, so you're not alone. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel so you can be alerted when I go live and I upload new videos. Right now I upload on Sundays and Wednesdays, and I will probably be sticking to that for the recent future. I look forward to seeing you next month. I think we're gonna do monthly for these. I don't know if I would have enough to talk about to do it more frequently than that, but I did want to kind of do a little bit more longer format video to kind of just shake things up a little bit, and to kind of just talk through some of the things I'm working on right now. And so this little guy is sleeping hard. Slater's sleeping hard. So you did a good job, buddy. You slept the whole video. And maybe next time I'll be joined by a different cat. We'll try to get a different cat in here. I have 4, so who knows who will show up next time, and maybe we'll even get a dog. But yeah, you're a good boy, bud. You're a good buddy. You're a good sidekick here. So thanks so much for watching, friends. I look forward to see you in the next video. Bye, friends.